You did it. You got it. You got it. That was awesome. Who?
It's 2. It's 2.
2? You got 2?
We need to feed them. We need undefeated.
Undefeated? You're undefeated?
Maple with the rainbow.
Maple in the rainbow?
It will be sacred surf with.
It will be
Stegosaurus,
Stegosaurus,
Triceratops,
Tops,
or
Bronta, Brontosaurus.
which is the
Correct answer.
Stegosaurus.
Is that the correct answer?
Stegosaurus is the correct answer.
Excellent.
Goes on what? This is the master. What? This one sound fun, which is the answer. This one sound not.
No, it doesn't.
I can't wait to talk about Luke.
This was extremely unexpected. I literally just was completely taken aback. It was like an awakening. It really was. It was like an absolute awakening. He was like, Luke is talking. And he was just going on. Luke is talking to his friends. And he was saying, my friends are Andy, Ben, Lauren, you, Papa, and he was talking about all his brothers and sisters. And I mean, literally, I had to compose myself because I just said, you've been waiting for this. It's there. Just compose yourself now and just keep giving him positive reinforcement. And I said, you can say everything. You can say anything. You can do it. You're doing it. I said, you're doing fantastic. And he wrote it on the wall, which is like a wall that is in between our unfinished part of the basement and finished part, because we have a little workout room down there. I mean, he was just like, the confidence I saw in his face was something that I never have seen. I'm still reeling from it because he wrote Luke is talking. He was pointing to it. He was, he talks a lot. Like I said, since we started, I just haven't written so much because he does talk so much that I can't even keep track of it anymore. And like I said, some of it was just right on and some of it was perseverative. But yesterday he was much more right on. And then this morning he woke up and sat next to his little brother at breakfast and was talking his head off to where Andy was like, stop it. What are you doing? Who is this? Because he's not used to it. No, so this is the room, and this is what he wrote. So I showed you that where he said Luke is talking. I don't know if you could see it.
Yeah.
And so we have this workout room, and yesterday after my dad had reset up the workout room, reshape the brain, change the environment type thing. So he reset it with different types of workout gear. And Luke was like a personal trainer. He went around and we set up the balls differently, weighted balls, and we have different equipment. He went around as if he were a personal trainer and narrated all the workouts he did. So he's like, now we're going to go to the elliptical and we're going to do the elliptical. And this is how we're going to do the elliptical. Okay, now we're going to work on the 2-pound ball. Now we're going to work on the 4-pound ball, 6, and he was talking all through it. I'm going to throw the ball to you, whole thing. We're going to work on these, the bands. And then he was asking me, he asked me what the name of this was. Because just because they can't speak, they may not know the vocabulary. Do you know what I mean?
Since we have been talking, because it was 99% RPM and 1% words when we met. It was, if it was a real message he had to get through, RPM was the go-to, whatever. And that's how you didn't have behaviors. That's how you didn't have, because he had a communication system.
And he had functional language to request things. Like he had the ability to request.
Yeah.
So that kept his tantrums down, because he could request food.
Right. He didn't have to pull out a device to be able to do that. He could do that off the top of his head. So his brain had shifted already from the fact that this device is too limiting for me. It's good for the big ideas, because if someone's here, patient, we're working together, I can communicate the big thing. However, on the fly, verbal speech is handier. It's more accessible. I can use it for that. And then he also is really super good at his nonverbal expression with his body. So his facial expression, his body's in a good way. Like some kids can like make call attention to themselves with negative behavior, but your boy learned how to get more flies with honey.
Yes.
So he learned how to use his feelings and all of that stuff to communicate the rest of the stuff when the RPM wasn't available. But when the RPM became available, that's how you knew the details of all this stuff.
I've already told you I'm not good at RPM because I don't practice enough, because I have 4 kids, and that's why we moved, so that he can get those big ideas out, because I was afraid of behaviors at his age. That bigger behaviors would start as he grew. And I said, and then we'll figure out all the rest from there.
And he's 9, and and he's big, and you have other kids and a baby, and it was important for him, because you could always tell that he had these things to communicate these feelings because of his nonverbal. Like, it's important for him that you understand how he feels, and he did whatever he could, write it down, show you with his body, whatever it was. And that's something that's super important for a lot of parents to understand from your perspective, is you have to be at that level where you are understanding what all of that is and what all of that means in real words, in words that you can say out loud. And when you made that shift to start to say, oh, that means this and this and this, and that means this and this and this, and that means this and this and this, then his brain had to take some time, like 6 months.
Yeah. It had to take some time to make the new inroads too. You know what I mean? And to reconnect through that type of, interaction too, right? Because when we do that interaction more and more, he knows what to expect. Like he's thinking before he's acting.
And that didn't used to happen.
No. I mean, I told you it was to the point where he just wanted to ask, where is my piano teacher? And he said, there's no there's no H on the piano. There's no H on the piano. And he perseverated on that. And really what he wanted to say was, where is my piano teacher? So I had to figure that out. So from there, I was like, okay, let's take this back and let's try to get this to where he can come to me without having to devise, words that, I have to decipher. So.
Yeah, and then he understood that you understood him.
Yes.
Because when you started to say the right words, and that's interesting too.
He had the relief of like, he had a full body relief. Yeah.
When you started saying the words that were in his head instead of telling him what to say, he had a full body relief. Like you could perceive that change in his attitude about it.
Yes. And then he never said it again. Then he didn't
and
have
then
to
he
say that
wanted
again.
to, and then he just wanted to listen to you all the time.
Yes. So that was the big shift. I remember back then was the big shift in, and then the mutual engagement piece, which I would do language facilitation or what I thought was, but he wasn't paying attention, or he could hear me, but it wasn't that mutual engagement that you need to light up the brain. So that makes me crazy because, I know it's true because I felt it. And when I heard him say that, I said, oh my gosh, that's exactly what it is. It lights up the brain on both of you. I'm sorry.
I'm crying over here too.
And I just said, oh my gosh, I just couldn't, I was just, we were stunned. Absolutely stunned. I mean, I knew it was going to come, but I just wasn't expecting it to be right then.
Right. Well, of course not. And that's what I always say too, is it always happens when you least expect it.
Mhm.
And I want to let everybody know that, language facilitation was obviously the key, the necessary part that did whatever, but language facilitation is not the only thing that you have done.
No.
He's
And I
9
think,
years old.
yes. And I mean, we're always making sure that we're hitting everything, because language facilitation on the side, the one piece too is, as he's getting older, his arms were always affected. And when we went on vacation, all the kids his age were using their arms to do everything: basketball, throwing balls in the pool, playing miniature golf, things of that nature. So we're really trying to, in a way that doesn't overwhelm his system, to really work on, getting that movement back, getting that feeling back. And then that's when he was telling me, I feel my fingertips now. I feel my fingertips. Because when he was in regular speech therapy, the thing that broke my heart the most, and where we knew we had to make the change, was he came home and he was always the happiest kid. Always the happiest kid. He came home from speech therapy. This was a few years ago, and he lied in his bed and he looked so sad. And I said, what's wrong? And this is before, and he must have mustered, this is before he could really speak. He must have mustered every inch to say, he goes, my tongue no work. My tongue no work. And that's when I said, okay, we have to do something, because you shouldn't have to feel this way. I know how hard you work. And we need to find something that will help your tongue work, will help us. Will help you, because I know how much is in your brain. I know how much you know. And I gave him a big hug, and we kind of cried together. But I mean, that was probably about 2 years ago. But I mean, what a change in 2 years.
2 years to go from that to, I can't imagine the feelings. I mean, I'm intuitive and I'm feeling your feelings, but
yeah,
just to go from that feeling of such sadness to the same tears, crying because your boy said to you with the same speech, I am talking.
I'm talking. Luke is talking. It's just unbelievable. I mean, it's believable, but I mean, I know.
Yeah. So I know,
so wonderful.
And
I mean, I think with language facilitation, what's so beautiful about that is that you have the relationship. It just deepens and builds your relationship, much more, that when something like this happens, you really feel it. You feel it through your core and through your soul. So, because you have that connection, you have that relationship.
Yeah, and I think that's it. It's really hard to not have that relationship without some spoken language.
Yes.
Because you do have it. You always did have it.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't kind of out in the real world, because he couldn't share those feelings out loud with you like he can now.
Yes.
And that's what's so amazing. That's what's so crazy amazing about it.
It is.
So what would you tell other moms?
I would tell other moms to keep up, to really look and see if there are or is other things that may be hampering their ability to speak, and try to seek out, additional remedies that could help their child be able to move better or hear better, or anything of that nature, and then always just keep a positive attitude through it as much as you can. I mean, I have my days, but as much as I can each and every day, I try to be positive and I try to be fun, and just remember their kids and remember how hard they work each and every day. And, they do work harder than most. And it's just, just take a step back and say, this isn't going to be how it is next week or a month from now or 2 months from now. You are going to see changes if you stick with it.
Yeah. And then once in a while you get one of these breakthrough moments that just hit you at your core, like you said. And And that's what we're here for. I mean, that's ultimately what it is. And it gives you an idea that the future looks really bright. And
Yes.
so I'm very, very excited.
And what's great about you guys is, sometimes we need that reminder. You're great. Sometimes we need that little kick. Sometimes we need to be able to look back at all the wonderful knowledge and information that you share. Because there are times at night that I do go on your site and I watch your videos just to kind of remind myself, because sometimes we're like, oh, this didn't work, that didn't work. Well, it may not work right now, but it's working. It is working. It's for the child is hearing you. The child, sometimes I heard a quote from somewhere, I forget where it was, that sometimes you don't meet 50-50. Sometimes you have to go 100% of the way. Sometimes you have to go 100% of the way, and it's worth it. And over time, that person will be able to mutually engage. And I mean, that's what I needed. I remember when I called you, I'm like, I need just someone to coach me. I need someone to be able to like get me back into that rah, I can do this, we can do this together type of mentality. And
it's definitely a journey, isn't it? And there are definitely ups and downs.
There's ups and downs. Yes.
Yeah. And it's a long journey, because each level you get to is so exciting, and you get there, and then what it does is just show you how much more there is to come. And now with this new shift that you've had, where he's moved over to be able to like say he's a talker, like you said this morning, now he's like chatting, and people are like, he made a shift, and the words are flowing out just like you and I, and that's scary great, scary fab,
Everyone has to adjust.
Well, I always talk about, there are these situations in life where you have a good problem to solve. Now that you've got a chatterbox boy, look out. And this is what I always tell people, be careful what you wish for. Now he's going to start telling you what to do. Just like he was coaching you around the workout, it's going to turn into that. And you're going to have a whole new set of, parenting kind of problems to have. But these are the fun problems. This is the problems you wished you had a year ago. And what's good about life is it's a whole new set of challenges as we move forward, but that's what keeps it fun. That's what keeps life fun. It would be boring if we only did the same and we never improved, know? And
one of the challenges recently has been, we're at the pool and he wants to go up to every girl and just start chatting with them. And we're like, and they're looking at him like, who is this? And why is he coming up to me and talking? So we have to kind of swoop in and,
especially him, because he's like such a body. I mean, he's totally flirting and not realizing it. And he's really happy, showing his nice smile, and everyone's like, whoa, what's going on here? And he'll put his hand on your shoulder. And, so now I have to teach some body, awareness and language. Yeah, there is these social boundaries.
So but I'm so happy to be up to that.
What a fun problem to solve. Exactly. I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you. Thank you so much for sharing with all of us this emotional ride and this emotional period. And I know other moms are going to be happy to know about it. So thank you so much.
Thank you.